it was only picked up when she was 5 that something was different. So things got a little bit fraught at home when she was 16, and her behaviour started to get really challenging. She'd scream a lot, run up and down the stairs, and she started to physically attack the little one. We were told there was a place available for her in a residential care home somewhere in the country in Sussex. To help the family cope, the only option was for her to go in the middle of nowhere, away from all her family, to somewhere in Sussex. But when Xenia did move in, it all went completely wrong. I just remember the phone calls Mum used to have from her, quite heartbreaking. And she used to say, "Mum, I want to come home, I want to come home." She used to cry. I think she didn't last longer than 3 months. And then a place became available back at Penrose House. So she came back to Penrose House, but she was a changed person. She was actually quite a completely different person. She was wild, her hair had been cut, her jet black hair would just cut. I didn't know at the time, but she had bruising and different, and my mum was the only one that saw her. She was so angry, Xenia, and out of sorts. She bit her tongue off. And they said that Hilt were going to come in and take over. Hilt, yeah. And all the residents needed to move into a different accommodation. I think that's when Xenia went to Bethune Road. And it wasn't the ideal place. The flat wasn't big enough to accommodate three tenants. And another situation built up with her teeth. She got a tooth infection. She had to have her teeth removed. It all went wrong because she wouldn't swallow the antibiotics, and her gums got infected. And the staff, it just went completely wrong. All the staff was overstressed. They had to section her again. And the only way to get her to take her medication was to actually sedate her, to C-section her in her own room, and that was really quite awful, actually. I remember when I visited her that day, she was quite, how can I put it? In sort of limbo.
Then we've got a very, very specific tool to measure the work that we're doing. So we enter some information on the computer from daily activity plan, and that will go into a graph for us to analyze what's been happening over the months. We've been working with Xenia, like I say, for many, many years. And originally people used to say, "Oh, she's been difficult today," or "That's difficult." But we didn't really have any tangible to show what was actually happening. So that's why we started monitoring on a daily basis the level of activity that she was engaged with and the level of changing behavior.
There was lots of issues whenever she was out in the community, like slapping herself, slapping staff members, even slapping members of the public. Change in her behaviour has been brought about due to a much more person-centred approach towards working with Xenia, in terms of changing the staff rota to suit her needs, to avoid having a handover during the daytime, and to ensure that she has the same staff during the day, which is what she prefers. Also having staff who she chooses to work with, and again having support plans which are up to date and meet her daily needs, and also improving our communication with Xenia using objects of reference, using symbols and photographs and IT equipment.
I can't remember what year it was, but they said that they've identified Xenia as being a good candidate to have shared ownership.
After 3 years, she actually found a flat, which she liked and her family liked. Since she moved to her new flat, her behaviour has changed quite radically in terms of less slapping, becoming much more confident around people.
They all work the same way. There's 5 or 6 of them, and they know Xenia's ways. They know how she communicates. Because she's non-verbal, she needs people that understand her. Gradually, because of the way that they've communicated with her and given her choices, She's more calmer. It's reassuring for us as a family to know that Xenia's in good hands and she's safe and secure and happy. You know, if you're not happy, things aren't going to go well, are they?